Yeah, we see more images of his family at the beach.
Yep.
Which every time somebody
Everyone loves
dies, it's always footage at a beach. John Wick, dead wives, always under the sheets.
It's the happiest place to be.
Yeah.
The beach. It's bright. People are having fun.
Everyone goes to the beach. You never see some poor bastard in Nebraska.
Yeah, you don't see a guy in Nebraska pushing his kid on his playground or anything like that.
Yeah,
watching Netflix on the couch.
Falling asleep.
Memories.
Can we watch Toy Story 4 again? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes.
Spending quality time with the kids.
Welcome to A Cast with No Name. We're your hosts. I'm Jay.
And I'm Matt.
This is episode 64. This episode, we review and discuss the Netflix action movies Extraction and Extraction 2. But first, don't forget to visit our website, acastwithnoname.com, where you can listen to our entire episode library, comment on episodes, write to our email. Plus, you can find us on Apple and Spotify, also on YouTube. So, the first one, Extraction, came out in 2020.
Yep.
I had not seen it. You had recommended it.
Yes, I did. What were your first impressions of it?
I thought it was. The action was decent.
Mm-hmm.
Little too much shaky cam in some scenes. Some things that I did enjoy were the random deaths or like kill shots, if you will. I think there was one to where he was fighting in the apartment right when he got Ovi or when he was going to get Ovi, and like I think he broke somebody's neck over a chair or something like that. But just like some of those gratuitous shots I enjoyed.
Gratuitous?
Yeah, gratuitous. So overall, I thought it was a decent action movie. I feel like it was paced fairly well.
Yeah.
It moved, and there's not a whole lot of story, which those kinds of movies, you typically don't need a whole lot of story.
No. I think that's the point.
Yeah. And I would say the extended action scene, I believe, is him like going through the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
That being all one shot. There's a couple of transitions to where it's kind of obvious, but I like the effort.
You talking about the one towards the beginning of the movie?
Yeah.
Right when he grabs the kid?
Yep. And I thought it I thought it was fairly well done, and just long enough to not be
not slog.
Yeah. So
I agree.
But yeah, so the action that took place during that single shot, there was enough happening and enough scenery change that kind of kept it moving.
Yep. Yeah, I like these movies because the director, Sam Hargrave. I like when stunt coordinators get a shot to direct action movies because I feel like they're the best action directors. I love the action in this movie just because it feels visceral and physical, and obviously it's choreographed, but it just feels like if shit were gonna go down, this is how intense and hardcore would actually feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have those instances where you have in a lot of other movies to where they say like a snappy, quippy line.
Yeah, there's none of that.
Something like that. They definitely remove some of those movie moments. Excuse me. And yeah, it kind of feels a little bit more realistic as far as that sense goes, because it takes, I think, some of the dramatic or just the cool factor out of it.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me just in the tone of The Raid. In certain fight scenes, just because you just watch The Raid, the story is fine, but you watch it for the fight scenes. And that's what, when I first watched the first one, I was like, this just reminds me of a good old-fashioned action movie. There's no really story or point to it, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's to highlight the action set pieces. And with that being said, I feel like it was just one of the better action movies I had seen in a while.
Yeah. And yeah, another thing I enjoyed was the explosions. I'm assuming they were real. They felt real.
Yeah.
As opposed to CGI explosions. I mean, I'm sure they probably had some kind of CGI.
They did. Yeah. But you can't tell.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And it was subdued enough. It kept it without being too extravagant to where you just obviously know it's fake. But
Yeah.
it was small enough, it felt real enough that, I mean, they if they were 100% fake, then great job.
Yeah.
Because they felt real. Because when I was watching this with Christy, I was like, it's nice seeing real explosions again. And because you just don't see that in a lot of movies because everything is so over the top anymore that you just feel like you're watching a cartoon.
Yeah. Where it, like the point you always like to make, where you like it when directors use CGI to their advantage as a tool, not a crutch. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of movies do nowadays. And I thought he did a pretty decent job. You could tell in some explosions and shots that I'm like, all right, that's CGI, but it's not glaring. It's well done.
Yeah. One of the things I did have an issue with was the opening up of the character. So I think they were at a safe house, Tyler and Ovi, not the one with Hopper from Stranger Things. But,
David Harbour?
Yeah, David Harbour. But the one, I think they were in a vacant house or whatever. And, oh, wait, maybe it was a safe house. No, it was a safe house, David Harbour. And Ovi just asked him questions. He's like, oh, what happened? And then Tyler just kind of spills his guts out to this kid. I didn't buy that. I feel like his character would have just been like, F off, I'm not talking to you about it or something like that. That I felt like it was just kind of like an information dump.
Yeah.
And that's the only that just leads to one of the main issues I had with this movie was just the reveal of his character. And I didn't know. I mean, obviously they made a sequel to this. I didn't watch the sequel before writing down all these notes, but if it was going to be a standalone movie, I feel like just slowly developing his character, Tyler's character, which is Chris Hemsworth, over the course of the whole film, I think would have played a little bit better to where it would have added a little bit of some intrigue to where maybe he has an issue protecting Avi or whatever, but to where then you slowly learn that even though he may seem brave doing all these things, he's kind of a coward in the sense that he couldn't stay for his son when his son needed him the most.
Yep.
But then have that be his arc at the end because maybe he couldn't either in past things to where he saw too many tragedies, two kids, he couldn't stand to see it for his own son, but maybe kind of develop that relationship with Avi a little bit to where him going back to the bridge at the end was kind of like his redeeming arc to where he would be there and you could have something in there to where Avi's character wouldn't know if he was coming back or not because he's aware of that instance in his past with him leaving his son. I think that could have added a little bit more tension and just kind of helped his character along as opposed to just kind of info dumping it on him in one single scene.
I felt like they improved on the second one though in terms of his backstory and his motivation.
We see more images of his family at the beach, which every time somebody
Everyone loves
dies, it's always footage at a beach. John Wick, dead wives, always under the sheets.
It's the happiest place to be. The beach. It's bright. People are having fun.
Everyone goes to the beach. You never see some poor bastard in Nebraska. I guess in Gladiator you did. He was always walking through the wheat fields.
The wheat fields.
The wheat fields, rubbing his hands on the wheat.
Yeah, you don't see a guy in Nebraska pushing his kid on his playground or anything like that. Watching Netflix on the couch.
Falling asleep.
Memories.
Can we watch Toy Story 4 again? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes.
Spending quality time with the kids. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that is the major flaw in this movie is just they tried to dump exposition in the story to make you care for him when maybe necessarily you didn't. If you were going to do it, you got to do it right. If you're going to do it at all, just do it right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just don't do anything like that. Just
Just make him
Just make a badass,
badass character.
Right.
That's what he does.
That's what he does.
And going back to where if it was going to be a single movie, how I think I would change the story because it opens up on Avi. He's the main character. And so you're following him in this situation. And you can still learn about Tyler's character, but then you're invested in Avi's character to where if he's set out all alone, then you have that you're sharing the fear with him and you're hoping he survives and you don't know if he's going to. And then you could have Tyler come in and save the day.
Yeah. If you're going to have an emotional connection with Avi, you'd have to set it up like Man on Fire did.
Mm-hmm.
Where the first 45 minutes of that movie is just you're in Denzel Washington's head, and then you're building that relationship with the daughter and all that stuff, and that makes you invested in his journey throughout the rest of the movie, and you get that emotional payoff. This is they jump into the action, they do the exposition dump, they try to build that relationship in the middle of the movie. When you're like, I already saw this badass action, I want to get back to the badass action. Let's do that. I'm not necessarily invested in this relationship.
Yeah, and because I didn't know if Avi was going to have some kind of character arc, because it pretty much starts off with him. Mm-hmm. His friends are egging him on to talk to a girl or whatever. You feel like you don't know his father's in prison at the time, but you have a sense that he doesn't have a strong relationship with his father because he goes home and then his father's employees are there.
Yep.
So I thought it was going to have some kind of arc like that, to where maybe he has a distrust of adults, and then that he would get trust again later on.
Oh, I got you.
I just thought there was going to be something there and just nothing really ever came of it.
No.
But
I will say Chris Hemsworth, great actor, and I think since they cast him, he's so believable as a badass. He's just big. He's imposing. He's like a physical specimen.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves does a fine enough job as John Wick, but he's not as physically imposing as, say, Chris Hemsworth is, or nearly as athletic as he is, or anything like that, which I think definitely amplifies the action a bit more when you have an actor like that. Did you ever see Jack Reacher, the show Reacher?
Yeah, yep.
Like that guy. What's his name? Alan Rickman? Or that's not. No. Yeah, Snape. Snape's doing actions.
Cowboy.
I caught myself.
Yeah.
Potter.
No, I know what you're saying, but but looking at this, I felt like he was kind of slimmed down a little bit from his Thor role.
Well, yeah.
Which is good because if he came in there
you have to be spry.
Huge, you have to be quick and move and all that. But I think it was a good choice to have Chris Hemsworth in this movie. I think he did a good job playing the role. He's believable as that kind of a person. A little too pretty, but
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
But one of the other things is I wish they did better explaining the geography of where they were at. I felt lost at times because this takes place in Bangladesh, and it's in the capital of It's supposed to be a huge city, but it felt very, very small.
Right. Geography lesson. What is the capital of Bangladesh, Jay?
I wrote it down, but I just can't find it in my notes. It's the capital of Bangladesh is the capital of Bangladesh.
Gotcha.
Do you know what it is?
No, I have no idea. I'm just as dumb as you.
U.S. public schools.
Yes, thank you. What's the capital of Wyoming? I can tell you that.
All I know is that's where all my clothes are made. Is Bangladesh.
That's all. Yes.
So, but yeah, just Crank did something that was interesting when they used
Dhaka.
So they used Google Maps and
Yeah.
Crank, and they would just kind of zoom out, position the camera over, and
zoom back in.
And you give an idea since where they were at. Granted, it was L.A., but this, I feel like it could have, I feel like kind of helped a little bit with that, just because I felt like the city was so small because everyone kept running into everybody.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the point. Maybe they didn't think of it that deeply into it to where, everyone's involved with this drug lord that it is a small city with
Mm-hmm.
that. And then they block off the walls at the end or on all the bridges. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of fucking work. Like, how many people did, like, it just feels like they just shrunk the city down. And which is not a bad thing. And maybe it could have just worked if it was just a smaller city.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just a little bit better or something, but it just, the geography I had to,
Like if they were going to lock down New York City,
yeah, with
like lock down the tunnel in the bridges. Like, how are you doing that?
well, coincidentally, I made a note. It's like, because this is written by the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
And the Russo brothers, I think, produced, what was that Chadwick Boseman movie?
21 Bridges.
21 Bridges, where they shut down the bridges.
Is it-
And I'm like, do they, like...
They
like,
love bridges.
Wait, are we shutting down bridges in this? Yes. Great.
Great.
We will write it.
I'll write that in the script. Yeah.
Love shutting down bridges.
Yep. Well, Sam Hargrave was the stunt coordinator for all the Russo brother movies.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America.
Yep.
Civil
which
War.
made me wonder, I was like, is this just kind of a carryover of where when they were working on 21 Bridges or whatever, they thought, oh, you know, it would be cool if you had some kind of scene, and it just kind of added it in there.
Or they couldn't do it on that movie, and they're like, oh, we got that movie
Yeah.
with Chris coming out. We could do it then.
For there. Nick, the character Nick, I really enjoyed. I think she did a great job. Her name is, as I'm scrolling through, Jesus Christ. I gotta click the.
You talking about the girl who hired?
Yeah.
Tyler?
Yeah, she's in.
She's in the second one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gol Shatif Farhani.
Yeah. I thought she was great.
She is good.
I liked.
She's very good in the second one, by the way. She throws some hands.
Yes, and they catch the hands.
They catch the hands.
But I liked her. I liked her character. I liked. But my favorite thing about the movie, it was so small, but it was just the sniper scene or the sniper sequence.
Yeah.
And between her and then the other guy who you thought was a ways away, but not.
Yeah.
Because he's standing next to the drug lord. He's looking through his binoculars, and it looks like it's like 3 miles away, and he's like, take him out. And then all of a sudden, he's like in the middle between them. And I'm like, again, geography. I was like, how far are things away?
Right.
Like, how close is this actually happening? But that sniper scene, I enjoyed that. I mean, it was small, but that's probably one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Just them trying to hunt each other.
I do like that they set this in like a southeastern Asian, like, I know where he was in Bangladesh, but isn't he from India? Isn't that where the kid's from?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you don't see a lot of Indian, like, ex-black merchants that are just badasses.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of...
Yeah, that was enjoyable.
Yeah.
That was another thing I mentioned to Christy when we watched it. I was like, well, it's nice it's in this location, because usually it's like in Mexico.
Yeah.
Or South America.
Yeah.
Or something that's more, I guess, relatable to U.S. audiences.
Right. Or Bulgaria or Russia.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to that.
But yeah, I like the location that they...
shithole Jays.
Yeah. Just shithole countries. Just places you would never want to... but yeah, I like the location of it. Because it was different and unique enough. And something that you don't typically see in major movies.
Not really.
But I guess what would be, if you had any, what would be your misgivings of this movie, or something you think that it probably could have improved upon?
The whole David Harbour scene, I got to admit, felt out of place to me. I didn't think it was needed. I felt like they wanted to get David Harbour in the movie, and like, oh, we need to make it even worse for Tyler in this situation. Let's have one of his buddies fuck him over. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't think you needed it.
I can agree with that. It
didn't carry that much weight to me, because I kind of knew. I'm like, oh, he's going to fuck him over.
Yeah.
Why can't we just fill that space, that negative space, with another cool action set piece that is way more interesting visually?
Well, they probably put that in, I'm guessing, is to kind of break up the action scenes, just
Right.
so it's not 90 minutes or 2 hours of just straight action. Because maybe it felt exhausting, or they needed something to break it up. Because the only other scene that they had that kind of broke it up was when they went to the abandoned building shortly after the apartment and car chase sequence, and it's at night, and then they had to dive into the sewers.
Yeah.
Other than that, there was really no other let up. It was just kind of go, 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 go.
Yep.
Which I like. I like movies that take place, because I think the whole movie takes place in, 2 days?
Yep.
And I like shorter time frame movies like that, like Nick of Time. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. It's a great movie. Underrated.
Yeah, just showing that urgency and showing how quick these things actually happen, instead of making it feel like a 3-week or a 6 month.
That's why you love Back to the Future so much. He's on a time schedule there.
That's right.
He's
Actually,
got
it only
something
takes
to do.
place in one night.
That's right.
But yeah, I don't think it really did much to.
It's like anything else. The story arc's not there. It's not fleshed out, but it's an action movie.
Yeah,
It's like anything else.
And that's the biggest thing. I wish the story was a little bit better, or presented slightly different to make it a little tighter.
Yeah.
Story wise. So I mean, the action was great, and in these kinds of movies, story is typically secondary, which is fine. But I think if you can do it right, you can
do both.
Yeah, you can do both, like John Wick 1. Simple story. You get the gist, and you're on board. And maybe they wanted to try and differentiate from that, so it didn't feel like too John Wicky. But
Yep.
But yeah, I think that would just be my main thing. But I thought the action was great. The characters, nitpick. So, Chris Hemsworth, his character Tyler, wears, was it necklace and bracelets? I noticed he has like what do they call that cord, that survival cord? It's like 504 cord or 505 cord.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what they're called.
Some kind of cord. He had that on his bracelet. That I get. That you could use as something. And then looked like he had other like friendship bracelets on. He had like a necklace.
Lucky Charms.
Yeah, for someone who's in depression, and I mean, maybe they were like family remembrance pieces, but there's like a shit ton of jewelry on him. And I'm like, would he be wearing all that jewelry? Like, oh, hold on. Yeah, I got to go do an extraction. Hold on. Let me put on my Johnny Depp attire and look like a half pirate or something. And I mean, it's probably just like pouches for the sake of pouches or something. Back in the 90s, they drew pouches and ammo belts on every.
Well, Jay, you took off one of them, right? And it was a bomb. Just threw it at people. They just didn't have time to work that into the script.
But yeah, that was the first note I wrote down. I was like, the fuck is he wearing all this jewelry for?
It looks so cool.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was probably the costume designer's like, oh, let's put this.
I have to feel like I'm contributing to this. Yeah. So I'll put my little flair on it.
Yeah.
Wait, Tyler Rake's wearing flair? What, does he work at Applebee's?
He does the bare minimum.
He does the bare minimum.
There was only 15 pieces.
That's right. The other guy had like 35 on it. But yeah, I mean, that scene in particular was fine. Didn't really add anything to me. And then, the arc is fine, but that's not the point. The point was badass action.
What did you think of the ending? So, and I'm thinking, spoiler, everybody.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've seen this already, but you have Avi diving into the pool.
Yep.
And then he comes up and you see a out of focus figure standing next to the pool.
Yep.
Could be him, could not be him. And again, I'm looking at this from the standpoint of just being a single movie.
Yep.
What did you think of that?
I thought he died. So I didn't know when I first saw this. I'm like, that's I like that. if they're not going to do a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I know they did a sequel, I don't like it as much.
Yeah, if if it was from the point of view of Avi, and he had a distrust of adults because he felt like no one was really looking after him, and they ended it that way, I thought it would have been perfect. If he would have come to trust like adults, or being able to accept help from, or accept I guess being looked after from another adult, to where he'd just I'd just be in his head, to where in his mind he thinks he's always watching over him, kind of a thing. I think that would have been a cute ending. And they had the line in there by the kid to where, oh, it's not, he was saying something along the lines of, it's like, not, you don't drown by not swimming in a river or something, you drown by not getting back up, kind of it was some kind of line
I know,
like that. And I mean, he ends up falling in the river at the end, but he's also like shot in the neck. And
shot in a lot of places.
Yeah, a lot of places. Falls in there, and which probably isn't the cleanest river.
Oh, it looked real clean. You take your kid swimming there.
Yeah. And I was like, I mean, I know they made a sequel, but I was like,
yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
If they had concentrated on Obi, I think the ending probably would have worked a little bit better, or something, or maybe just not have that to where, oh, is he there, is he not there, kind of thing. Just have it be him back to his normal life, and he can enjoy his life again.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the payoff.
Yep.
Because Tyler was able to extract him.
He extracted him, all right. He got
like
it done.
Dentist.
But I think because of the flaws of the first one, I think the second one improved, I think, on everything. Mm-hmm. It's by no means a perfect movie or anything like that, but I think it improved on its flaws, and it's a better action movie than the first one. I like the second one a lot more.
And in them making this, I don't know if they went in this assuming that. I think they probably wanted to leave it open for a sequel, maybe, if it got popular enough. Mm-hmm. I don't think they went into this thinking they were going to be making more of these. If they wanted to leave it open, I would have done it similar to like The Transporter. So, because this, I feel like, is a good character to have, to where he can be involved in anything. Mm-hmm. It could be a person, it could be a thing, it could be like a whole bunch of situations similar to like The Transporter. He could be his character is in a world that's diverse enough to where the next movie could be a totally different story, but still have that same character in there.
Yeah, kind of like Jack Ryan or something.
Yeah, well, more so. I mean, Jack Ryan's usually tied to the CIA, but more of Kanan Kung Fu, or like an episodic thing, to where
I know what you
this
mean.
is just one mission he was paid to do, and then here's another mission he was paid to do.
Yeah.
If they positioned the character that way, and then you could have learned a little bit more about him through each of the other movies, but it could have just kind of
like
been,
James Bond.
Yeah, like Man with No Name kind of a thing, to where he goes in there, he wrecks some shit, saves the day, and then gets the fuck out.
I think that's what they're going with. I think he's signed on to do another one.
And yeah, I think I saw that too. I think they approved the third one like a week after the second one came out, or something like that. But
I really want to see these in theater, though. I think it would be a pretty awesome experience.
Yeah. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I like the comfort of my own home, but I like action set pieces on the big screen.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested to see how it looks in theaters, to where being blown up, to where if it's blown up that much, would it still look as good as far as opposed to being on a smaller picture size.
Right.
But that's one thing that, well, it's just another thing I think they could have done with the character. And if they could definitely go that route. in future installments. Well, let's.
Yeah, so he saves Abby,
Yes.
right? He's left for dead in the first one. The second one picks up with, guess what? He's not dead. All right.
Yep.
He goes on to some
he gets a
fabulous retreat in the mountains.
Yeah, miraculous save from same in the vein of what was it, the Kingsman, the Golden Circle.
Yeah.
To where they just pop up out of nowhere and save Colin Firth's character.
I haven't seen that in a while, but I do remember that. Yeah.
They're like they put some weird apparatus on it. Oh,
Yeah.
we gotta save him. Like, why him? You let all these other poor fucks die. but yeah.
Movies.
So the second, let's hop into the second one.
Yeah.
Starts off. They dig him out of a river.
Yep.
Don't know who dug him out of a river.
Doesn't matter.
Well, you would assume it's his team, but his team was busy getting Avi out.
Yep.
So this is like the B team. This
It's a B team.
Rescue team.
Mm-hmm.
Saving him. Okay,
Yep.
so they have a B team coming in. They pull him out of the river.
Yep.
And they take him to a Dubai hospital.
Yes.
I looked up yesterday
With the finest medical care.
how long a flight time would be.
From Dhaka to Dubai? What is it, like 2 days?
By helicopter, because it's by helicopter,
Okay.
is 6.5 hours. That's a long-ass flight when you're shot in the neck.
Sure.
and pulled out of a very clean river.
That's fine.
But yeah, so they go to Dubai.
Can you imagine being on a 6-hour helicopter flight with like kids, with our kids? So loud and
Turn it down. It's too windy.
Liam keeps hogging the iPad. I can't watch anything.
Tablet's dead. Is there
Well.
USB chargers?
Let's play the license plate game. I don't know what that is. Sounds boring.
Can't see the license plate. We're in a helicopter.
Oh God.
So
he goes to Dubai, right?
Yep.
To heal lick his wounds.
Yep.
And after he's learned to walk again, they take him to like the Alps.
Yeah.
I don't even know where is he? He's like in some winter cabin in like Europe,
somewhere. Austria, I think.
Austria. Okay.
And then they drop him off, and they pretty much say, "Happy retirement. Here's a cabin out in the wilderness."
And just die alone.
Yeah, like a man. And
Well, he gets his dog, right? Yeah, he gets his dog.
oh yeah,
Yeah. He's got his dog.
and a goofy shirt,
Yeah.
and so he's there, and then a new mission approaches, and he starts doing some Rocky.
Yeah, he does the Rocky stuff.
Rocky 4.
Chop some wood.
Yep, chops wood. He pushes some shit in the snow.
Yep.
Gets all jacked again.
Yeah.
And a new mission comes up.
Yep.
Where this time it's
Same people.
Same.
It's what, Nick?
It's his team. And he tells his team to take this job without disclosing very much information, but it's more or less his ex-sister-in-law and her family.
Yeah.
Which that part of the story, I wish it was just a random
person.
Like
Yeah.
I did not like the connection.
I agree with you.
To
That
his
is the
family.
flaw.
I did not care about him and his ex-wife.
Didn't matter.
Don't care.
Didn't matter.
It's over. Their relationship is over.
Yeah.
It happens. We already explored that part of his character. Let's be done with it. I wish it was just a random thing. Maybe they had to have some kind of mission that would make him want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he was just kind of like, whatever, I'm gonna sit in my cabin
Yep.
with my dog and do nothing. And then this kind of lit the fire under his ass. I get that, but
I think what they were trying to do is
they had to cover up the mistake of damaging him so much at the end of the first movie.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have him come out with like, oh, it's just a flesh wound, and have him be okay, because then you immediately lose the audience.
Yeah.
Like,
they were trying to because he obviously they want to do a third one.
mm-hmm.
So they're like, what would motivate him to want to do it again after this one? So it's okay. There's that arc of he realizes that he was too hard on himself, and he ended up doing good, saved his sister-in-law and her sons. He's got a second chance on life here, different perspective. Idris Elba comes in and does his Idris Elba thing, and smooth as silk. By the way, I was not expecting him to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Everything he's in, I'm like,
yeah, he's good.
You got me.
Which I think he's going to be in the third one. But this one, I think this one also had an extended action scene.
Yes.
So my prediction is the third movie, it's going to be all one shot.
One shot, like 1917?
Yes.
It's going to be one shot.
Just one shot.
I don't think so.
Well, it'll probably be like 5 because they got to set up the story.
Yeah.
And then once the action starts, I feel
Dude, I tell you what, though, that scene right when they go into the prison, that extended action scene is awesome. It's fucking awesome.
It's enjoyable to see. It became noticeable, and maybe it's because I saw the first and second one almost pretty much back to back. It started feeling more gimmicky. To where
you think so?
Yeah, I mean, well, for me at least, just because I was like, yeah, it's a long shot. Like, it's not. I mean, if it was an actual single shot, I think it would be more impressive. But it's not. I mean, you cover it up with digital transitions and everything else, and it's still a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. But it's not a single shot. It's made to look like a single shot. So it's like, if you want to show, again, like from the first movie, how quickly things progress and how chaotic it is, it's a good way to do it. But it just felt like, we did an 11-minute shot in the first one. Let's do a 20-minute one in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And which is why I say the third one is going to have a 40-minute one at least, or something like that, to where it feels like, we got to outdo the other one. And it's like, put things in your movie that work with the story and have purpose. Don't do things because you did it in the first one, you feel like you have to do it again in the second one, but even better, kind of a thing. But it kind of took me out a little bit once I noticed it, and I was like, this is the long shot portion of the movie.
Man, you're just a bitter.
I'm a Debbie Downer.
You are. Well, you could make the same critique about John Wick. It's like, we're gonna have him shoot more people with more different kinds of guns,
and that's
you're
thing.
Fine with that, right?
No, I'm not, because when we talked about those movies,
no, I'm not.
I even made the point where I get it. It's more over the top. Some of the action scenes are cool, but there's no story backing it up, and it's just, he's got to get revenge for like at this point. It's like in those movies, it got to the point like, revenge for what? Like he's getting to a point he's just in the wrong, or he's just killing people for the sake of killing people. There's no purpose of it going forward. It's still enjoyable to watch, but it just took me out of the movie when I saw it.
Gotcha.
Because it reminded me of the first one.
Right. I thought that scene was awesome because I think that they do a great job of making him not invincible and thinking on the fly when things don't go right.
Mm-hmm.
And that because this prison yard brawl, the whole time I'm like, he's getting his ass beat. Like this isn't even like the hero man who's just plowing down people and stuff. Like he's got to be intuitive and has kind of some sort of weird ingenuity in terms of hurting people because he's getting his ass beat throughout the whole scene.
And those are my favorite parts of the movie. It's just the creativeness that he does to kill people. Mm-hmm. The first one he threw a body and he broke his neck against somebody's chair, and then this one,
he's a treadmill.
Yeah, I mean it's
that was cool.
I like the creativity in those aspects more than I like the long shot kind of a thing, and not to diminish the amount of work that goes into those shots, but it's.
What did you think of the train scene? Like the way. Just how that whole thing was choreographed in terms of in the middle, and then you go to the front with what's her name, Nick.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
And they go on top with the helicopter. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and they do, which I think they landed the helicopter on the train for real.
Oh, did they?
And and that's the other thing, is like some of these stunts that they do is it's nice to actually see, and you can tell that it's done correctly. Now maybe it's on they may use some like computer effects to enhance it, but I mean some of the things, I mean it's nice to see things done for real. But,
yeah.
And you mentioned it a little bit with Chris Hemsworth's character, and they did it with Nick too. Is, I mean, in movies you typically have like a 90-pound girl beating the shit out of a 300-pound man, and it's like, oh, they get a slap in the face or maybe a punch in the gut, and then that's it. To where I felt something I enjoyed about this movie was when Nick was fighting her opponents, her blows to the guy were believable, but also the guy was able to pick her up and throw her.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
she would be injured from that. It wasn't like, oh, just brush it off and then go back into the fight. Like you felt like these people were actually feeling pain. That's something else I enjoy, because they're not turning them into superheroes. And I hope they stick to that mantra, because I feel like it makes for better action is when the heroes get beat up.
Oh yeah.
And it's more believable fight. Granted, could 110-pound Nick fight somebody the way she was fighting? Yeah, it's believable, because I mean it's not like she was like punching a grown man in the face and then him flying 4 feet away. It was more faster hits, and she was using her environment, using her gun, like whatever she had to her advantage.
When she was throwing like all of her body weight into like everything, like she had to throw every pound in order to inflict any kind of damage on it. Which I was like, all right, thank you.
Yeah, it made
if you're
sense
gonna if you're gonna choreograph a fight with a woman, then that's how you do it.
Yeah. So that's what I enjoy a lot. And I like how she was in the movie more. She was one of my favorite characters in the first movie. Liked her in the second movie. Thought they did good. The son in the family, douche.
Yeah, what a douche.
Ugh. Kids are the worst.
Yeah, just the worst. The whole time I was like, just throw him out of the building. No one's gonna be the wiser.
Yeah.
Push him out.
Like, whoops. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a fan of his character, but I don't think you're supposed to like his character. The only other thing, and this just goes back to, I mean, this is a nitpicky thing. So Nick's brother gets shot and killed by the main baddie. And he brings it up later to Nick, saying something along the lines of, oh, I killed your brother. And like, I think they were in the church.
Yeah.
And he's like, I killed your brother and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, how do you know that? He shot him. He shot a guy that he's aware of. He didn't.
But how would he know it was your brother?
How did he know it was her brother? He died on the helicopter.
Yeah.
Out of sight. Like, how would he know that? Kind of a thing. Like, it was. Then that's just nitpicky bullshit. But it's forgetting the fact that when you write these things, you need to keep yourself into the character's point of view, so that way you're not just pulling out dog shit dialogue like that doesn't really make any sense. Because, I mean, a lot of people probably wouldn't notice or care, but I mean, I picked up on that when he's like, "Oh, I killed your brother." Like, how the fuck do you know it's her brother? It's just some guy that just happened to be there. They didn't necessarily look alike.
Yeah, he overheard it.
I mean, it's racist.
It is racist.
Because they're both Egyptian or Middle Eastern.
You don't even know.
I don't even know.
They're probably Indian,
I
Pakistani.
don't know. Actually, I think they are. I think she is a Bollywood actress.
Is she?
So she probably is Indian. But yeah, that's just a nitpicky thing. The other nitpicky thing is just that it was tied to his family, and then you have the scene with his wife in the prison, like in their reconciliation,
in the cabin.
In the cabin, but then also doesn't she visit him in the prison when he's arrested?
Oh yeah.
At the end, and I'm like, I don't care about this. I just really don't care about this. To where, I don't know. Yeah, I don't care about it.
I agree with you. Yeah, the emotional beats just aren't there. It's just fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm okay with it. What did you think of the the baddies this time. Were they in Bulgaria, Romania? I don't remember. I think it was Romania.
I like the scene where you get introduced to him. He's the older brother that's not in prison, and the guy
rakes
comes.
the politician.
Yeah, and
I like that too.
Yeah, he's digging the graves. Like, oh, what happened? Oh, we had, what did he say? A horse died or something like that. Yeah, he says a horse died. He's like, oh, you can't take it to the vet. He's like, it's outlived its usefulness. And then you discover that, oh yeah, he's the horse. But I like that scene. I didn't care for the villain's backstory of his father beating him to protect his younger brother. Like, they're brothers. That's all you have to.
That's all you have to say.
Why would he want revenge for his brother that got killed? Well, because it's his brother. That's all you need. I didn't need the backstory. I didn't care.
Yep.
That's
why he's so emotionless.
Yeah.
He didn't have love of a father growing up.
Or perfect hearing.
No.
Because it had it smacked out of him.
Kind of smacked out of him. He probably, probably talked back a little too much, Jay.
Yeah.
His father was just, doing normal dad things.
And maybe they did it to just kind of, I guess, add some character to the villain instead of just have someone be bad. But
like, who else could run a criminal underground organization other than the guy who gets the shit kicked out of him when he was a little kid?
Yeah, and then
no one could possibly. It's like, yeah, they could easily. Power corrupts absolutely. You don't get beaten.
Yeah.
As a little kid.
Yeah,
But that's Hollywood for you, man.
Yeah, their backstory I wasn't a fan of. I mean, they could have just had him be gang leaders.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, he grew up on a bad part of town.
Yeah.
Happens every day.
Yep. It's fine.
That's fine. Yep.
I'd like to know. I wouldn't because I really don't care. But I'd be more interested in the backstory of how his sister-in-law married a kingpin. Like,
how'd that happen?
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, so you have two sisters. One is, I don't know what wasn't she like a doctor or
something like that?
Someone
successful.
Very successful.
Yeah.
And then her sister marries the Pablo Escobar of Bulgaria.
Romania.
Yeah, Romania. Like, what the fuck? Like, and she's not even, like, his wife's not even, what was his wife? Oh, she was a Bond girl.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Olga, blah, 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 blah.
I guess she is.
Right, what's her name?
Bulgarian. But
is she?
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. That didn't make more sense to me than anything was. It was like, why would his sister-in-law marry that guy?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Olga Kirilenko. Oh, trivia. Did you know that she played the villain in Black Widow? Another Marvel, Russo brothers.
I did not, because I did not see
that
Black
movie.
Widow.
Good for you.
Thank you.
It's not very good.
No?
No. David Harbour, also in Black Widow, was in Extraction 1.
Ooh. Maybe Ken Jeong from Community, and maybe Dean Pelton. You ever watch Community?
A couple episodes.
Russo brothers directed a lot of those episodes.
Oh, did they?
So they did a lot. They did like the paintball episodes, which are like the most fan favorite episodes. But it's actually how they did Community before they were brought on to Marvel, and I think they probably got the Avengers gig obviously after the success of Winter Soldier, but they Marvel saw that how well they directed action from the Community episodes, plus how well they handle an ensemble cast.
That is so crazy,
isn't it?
I wouldn't buy it. I'm like, hey, we want to hire why? Yeah. This is a $200 million movie. You're out of your fucking mind.
But we can control them, right? Yeah. All right, hire them.
All right.
That's their MO now. Now they just get no-name directors to direct everything. They'll say,
I know. Yeah, you wonder why the Marvel movies suck now. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, good on them, because, the Russo brothers I know they didn't direct this movie, but they make pretty good action flicks, I must say. I've never seen 21 Bridges.
I have not
I don't know how that one is. I did see The Gray Man. Did you see that? with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans.
Yeah,
It's a Netflix movie.
Is that good?
No.
No.
I turned it off because I was like, I don't want to watch any more of this. I just don't have time to watch everything, Jay.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't have time. I'd rather watch something else.
Ghosted was by them too, or produced by the Russo brothers, I want to say. But
is that the David Harbour one?
No, that was the Chris Evans and
Hottie Boom Baladi, who played Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah,
Ava de Arms.
Yeah.
Anna Darms.
Anna Darmas. Anna David.
Yes. She's in The Gray Man too, by the way.
Oh, is she?
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I saw maybe 5 minutes of her in it because, like I said, I turned it off halfway through. Chris Evans is not a good villain.
No?
No.
Is he too?
I just don't buy it. No, you can't. After not another teen movie and Captain America, I'm like, he's not a good villain. Even in what's that? Not Glass Onion, but
Knives Out.
Knives Out, where he plays the villain. It's like, I just don't buy it. I'm sorry.
He's too good looking and he has kind eyes.
He does. He has kind eyes.
Villains need to be ugly.
Right. Like, I don't think Ryan Gosling would play a good villain either. I just probably wouldn't believe it. Has he ever played a villain?
I don't know. Didn't he play like a set? I mean, he's probably played anti-heroes, but...
Yeah, like in Drive and...
Yeah.
But no, not a villain.
Yeah.
You feel like you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide which one I like more. I mean, I think they were both...
Yeah, they're both good.
Both good
second
action
one,
movies.
I thought the second one improved.
I think some of the action things they improved. I like the inclusion of more characters. I feel like it's going to turn into not a Fast and Furious, but more of a crew movie to where it'll be Chris Hemsworth and Nick and their crew doing stuff, kind of like Mission Impossible. They have their crew kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, story-wise, I feel like it'd be easier to do stuff that way as opposed to just having one person.
Yeah. Idris Elba just directing stuff.
Yeah.
He's like Nick Fury, or he's like who's that Viola Davis character in the Suicide Squad? What's her name?
Bringing up shitty movies. The
wait, what?
Alec Baldwin in Mission Impossible, or Anthony Hopkins in Mission Impossible.
It writes itself.
Or
this movie writes itself. I love how the writers are on strike. It's like, you need us. I don't know.
What we do.
Really? Do we?
Good stuff. Anything else on Extraction?
No. I recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. With all the delightful things that are on Netflix now, and believe me, there's not that much.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a lot of time in this world, and there's just shit thrown at you constantly. I would recommend these two movies to kill some time on the weekend.
Yeah, I agree. If you want a good action movie, these are good action movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fun. It's the actions on the believable side of things. It's not Marvel action. It's action.
Yeah.
Action. Stories lacking in both, but it is what it is. They do a little bit better job with the story in the second one, but it's no T2. Not all movies are going to be that, but
yeah, only compare it to one of the best movies ever made, Jay. It's real
that's
fair.
the bar.
That's real fair.
That's the bar everyone should be going up to.
I just watched that with Nicole like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, this movie is it's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
But I agree. You recommended these movies to me, and you compared them to John Wick a little bit.
Yeah,
they're just straight action movies, very minimal story, and I would agree with that. Now the action's different than what are in the Wick movies, but it doesn't go as over the top yet with these movies that John Wick did, to where now everyone has bulletproof suits and everyone can fall from 3-story buildings and get back up and go.
You just put your forearm out there with the suit.
Yeah,
and you just shield yourself from bullets.
But yeah, they're good. They're good action movies. They're quick. They're quick paced. They don't feel like they drag. So they're good watches.
Yep.
So cool. But let us know if you've seen them. What do you think? Which ones are your favorites? I don't know. I think probably first one would probably be my favorite.
Yeah, just disagree with me. It's fine.
No, I don't know.
It's fine.
I have to watch them again. But yeah, tell us what you think about the Extraction movies. Which one did you like more? Let us know in the comments on our website, castwithnoname.com.
Please do. What are we talking about next time, Jay?
Next time, join us as we duplicate ourselves a little bit. Not really, but
okay.
We are going to talk. We're going to stay on the Netflix.
Okay.
Because
you recommended this movie that you just saw.
I recommended it. I saw it last night. And I thought that we should talk about it. It is
fine.
They Cloned Tyrone.
Okay.
Starring John Boyega.
John Boyega, yeah.
Finn from Star Wars.
Your favorite character from that?
Yes.
That series.
And
Jamie Foxx, right?
Jamie Foxx, yeah. So, but yeah, watch They Cloned Tyrone and join us next week as we talk about that movie.
Awesome.
Until next time, Matt.
Until next time, Jay.